At the beginning of movie, we see a family of 4 in which husband's name is Evan and wife's name is Karen. Both of them were living very happily with their children, while Karen works in an art gallery and Evan was an architect. One day, both Evan and Karen make a plan for a trip with their children, but before leaving, Evan gets an urgent work, and he does not get along with his family because of the importance of work. Therefore, Karen goes alone with her children to the trip, and Evan stays at home with his dog. At night, when Evan is doing the necessary work of his architect, then he hears a knock at the door. And when he opens the door, he sees 2 girls completely drenched in rain, one of which was named Belle and the other named Genesis. They tell Evan that we were going to a party, but due to rain we lost the way, and our mobile phones have also stopped working. To help them, he asks them to come inside the house. First of all, he gives them robes to dry themselves, and then also gives an iPad to a girl so that she could find the address of party. After searching for the location, she comes to know that the address of party is too far from here, so Evan books an Uber for them, which was to be arrived there in 45 minutes. Girls were completely soaked in water, so they use Evan's bathroom to get fresh and goes to Evan, who is making coffee for them. After that, Evan starts talking with them and asks them about their job, upon which they tell him that they work as air hostess and also entertain the travelers. Then they show him their job-related some photos and also start seducing him, due to which Evan doesn't feel good. So, he stands up and moves away from them. He checks his phone and comes to know that there are still 20 minutes for the Uber to arrive. After that, the girls ask Evan about his wife. Evan tells them that his wife is an artist, and she makes paintings for a company. He also shows them her work. During the discussion, they try to get close to Evan. Evan tries to ignore them again, and checks his phone again. Knowing that there are only 5 minutes for the Uber to arrive, he feels good. Just before the arrival of cab, both girls go to bathroom for taking bath. After drying their clothes, Evan goes to them to give their clothes and also tells them that the cab has arrived, but they ignore him and enjoy the bath. After some time when they don't get out, Evan, covering his eyes with his hand, goes inside to give them clothes. He sees that they were completely nude there and they try to seduce Evan and get close to him. But Evan, being a family man, doesn't want to do this. At last, Evan loses control over his feelings, and they enjoy threesome in the shower and later in the bedroom. The cab driver leaves after waiting for some time. Next morning, when Evan wakes up from sleep, he does not find those 2 girls there and thinks that maybe they have gone from there. But then he hears them laughing in the kitchen. As soon as he goes to the kitchen, he sees that they have ruined the kitchen. Just then, Karen's video call comes, and he goes out to talk to her. After talking to his wife, he comes inside and angrily tells them to wear the clothes quickly and get lost from this house. But after some time, he sees that both of them are spoiling the sculptures made by his wife. Seeing this, Evan tells them in anger that I am calling the police, and if you want to avoid, then leave immediately. Belle and Genesis both start laughing after hearing this. They say that we both are underage, and you had fun with us last night, which is a crime, so if you call the police, they will catch you and put you in prison. Hearing this, he thinks what a big mistake he made last night. Just then, someone knocks at the door. On opening the door, Karen's friend Vivian is seen, who had come there to ask if Evan needed anything. Evan gets more scared seeing her. During their conversation, Genesis suddenly came out and sticks with Evan. Seeing this, Vivian thinks that Evan is having an affair with that girl, due to which she angrily leaves from there by abusing him. Evan gets very angry with both of them, and now he starts calling the police again. Seeing this, both girls get scared and agree to leave immediately. After which, Evan takes them both from there in his car, and after going some distance drops them in front of a house. Evan comes back to his house and finds that those girls had made his house a mess. So he first cleans his house, and then sits down to do his architect work. While working, he hears some sound in his house. When he checks out, he finds that his family photo has fallen down. Now, as soon as he bends down to pick up the picture, Genesis hits fire extinguisher on his head, knocking him unconscious. After some time, when he wakes up, he finds himself tied to the bed. He shouts to Genesis to untie the ropes, but she does not listen to him. Belle comes there, wearing Evan's daughter's school uniform, and together they start undressing Evan, but Evan tries his best to stop them. At the same time, Evan's phone receives a video call from his wife. Seeing this, Genesis tells Evan that if you don't get physical with Belle, we both will take off your clothes and tell your wife that you are having fun with us. Evan agrees to them, and Belle starts having fun with him. Meanwhile, Genesis starts recording both of them. After a while, when Genesis goes out to eat something, by using all his strength, Evan unties the ropes with his hand and pushes the bell down. He then goes to Genesis, who is eating something. Attacking his injured shoulder forcefully, she renders him unconscious again. After some time, Evan regains consciousness, and he finds himself tied up to a chair where those girls start playing a quiz game with him. After some time, a worker named Luis, who used to work with Karen, comes to her house to collect a sculpture made by Karen. Seeing him, they hide Evan in a room. After this, Genesis opens the door, and both of them tell him that we both are Evan's cousins, and a thief had entered the house. So Evan has gone after the thief to catch him. That's when Luis catches the sight of Karen's art, whom both of them had done badly. Seeing this, Luis doubts them, and tells them that Evan do not have any cousins. He suddenly hears the sound of Evan shouting, and he goes to a room where Evan was tied up. He immediately unties Evan. While outside, both of them start breaking Karen's art, which was very expensive. So Luis stops them from doing so, but only then he gets asthma attack. He tries to take his inhaler from them, but in the meantime, due to his faltering leg, he hits his head with one of sculptures, which causes his head to bleed, and he dies after a few seconds. Seeing him dead, Belle and Genesis start laughing, as if it doesn't matter to them. Evan understood that both of them are psycho. After this, they put a cover-up on dead body and puts it in Luis's car, and try to show like Karen was in relationship with Luis by texting each other from Luis and Evan's phone after coming back. And when Evan comes to know about their affair, he murdered Luis in a fit of rage. After doing this, both of them dug a big pit outside the house to bury Evan. While tied up by the chair, Evan somehow tries to call his wife on the iPad. But then, Genesis and Belle arrive there, and Genesis snatches the iPad from him and gets so angry at him that they completely ruin the house of Evan. Then they cut Evan's hair. In the same room, Genesis finds a gun hidden by Evan, and she asks Belle to open Evan's hands and says, "Now we both will play hide and seek with you, and if you are caught, then we will shoot and kill you." Evan immediately starts hiding in the house while they search for him. Just then, Evan tries to run away from the house, but Genesis goes and finds him. The girls tell him that they have killed other men and announce that he will die at dawn. At dawn, they tie Evan up with a hose, bury him in the hole, leaving only his head above ground, and tell him they will crush his skull with a large stone. It misses his head by inches, and the girls, laughing hysterically, then reveal that the entire ordeal was merely a game, as they never intended to kill Evan, nor are either of them underage, and that everything they did was part of a wicked hobby of seducing, victimizing, and ruining the homes of married men with children. Genesis shows Evan the video she recorded earlier with his phone of Belle raping him. As Evan watches on, she uploads it to his Facebook profile. They depart for another victim and take Monkey with them, leaving Evan to his fate. Karen and the kids arrive to find the house ruined. Evan's son Jake says, "Daddy had a party,